Welcome to the Vision Creator Podcast, from corporate to creator, with your hosts, Pamela Martino and Debbie Williams.
Welcome. Good morning to all. Thank you for joining today's Vision Creators from Corporate to Creator live podcast. We are so grateful you decided to spend your morning with us. We have an amazing panel of experts that is here to help us through this holiday season with strategies and coping mechanisms that will help us make it through in a time where many people find it stressful, full of anxiety, and not so jolly. The content shared on this podcast is not therapy, counseling, or a substitute for professional mental health treatment. Listening to this podcast does not establish a therapist-client relationship. If you are experiencing emotional distress or mental health concerns, please seek support from a licensed mental health professional or qualified healthcare provider in your area. All right, let's get started. So we're going to start by reading the bios of our illustrious guests here, starting with Dr. Patricia Saunders-Madison. Dr. Patricia Saunders-Madison is a seasoned behavioral health and educational leader with more than 2 decades of experience advancing mental health, child welfare, and family-centered services across school, nonprofit, and clinical settings. She brings deep expertise in executive leadership, school-based mental health systems, crisis intervention, and the design and oversight of government-funded programs. Her career also includes executive leadership in treatment of foster care, school district-based behavioral health coordination, and direct clinical practice. In addition to her administrative work, Dr. Saunders-Madison has maintained a long-standing psychotherapy practice, providing treatment to children and adults experiencing anxiety, depression, trauma, and related concerns. She also serves as a mental health liaison with the public school systems, supporting crisis response, staff consultation, and student social emotional well-being. Welcome, Dr. Patricia Madison, to the Vision Creator Podcast.
Good morning, everyone.
Okay, let's go on to Dr. Pauline Belton. Dr. Pauline Belton is a transformational thought leader, licensed clinical professional counselor, board-certified hypnotherapist, best-selling author, and visionary founder of Your Therapy Doctor, a trusted platform at the intersection of mental health, emotional intelligence, and leadership excellence. Creator of Heart Framework and the CARE approach, Dr. Belton has developed 2 evidence-based models that equip leaders to navigate pressure, strengthen emotional intelligence, and build resilient, high-performing cultures rooted in trust, clarity, and accountability. Her work is grounded in clinical science and designed for real-world application, bridging what leaders feel with how they lead. Dr. Belton is the best-selling author of The Heart of Resilient Leadership, Mastering Emotional Intelligence to Transform Teams and Organizations and Navigating Stress in the Workplace, a science-based guide to building resilience and thriving under pressure.
Yes.
Got it. With over 3 decades of experience in mental health, emotional intelligence, and human development, Dr. Belton partners with corporate executives, government agencies, educators, and high-stake organizations to design and deliver high-impact keynotes, leadership retreats, and professional development experiences. Her approach is known for being clinically sound, culturally responsive, and deeply human, creating brave spaces where insight becomes action and growth becomes embodied. Yes. Let's welcome Dr. Pauline Belton to Vision Creator Podcast.
Hello.
Let's go on to Debbie Williams. Debbie has multiple degrees, bachelor's in chemical engineering, master's in technology management, and a second master's in Christian counseling. Although she was trained in solving technical problems for Fortune 500 companies, co-workers were always in need of help with solving their personal problems. Debbie is an avid student of the Word of God and completed coursework to become a licensed minister. In addition to helping her co-workers solve their problems, she became the lead for the counseling ministry of her church, faithfully walking alongside members throughout their storms. These events catapulted her into starting a Christian life coaching business. Her coaching practice is organically growing through the word of mouth. Debbie is also the co-host of Vision Creator Podcast.
Hey.
Yay! Let's welcome Debbie to the Vision Creator Podcast in a dual role today. All right, and let's finish up with Patrice Pullen. Patrice was born and raised in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Patrice received her master's in education from the University of Pittsburgh with a concentration in school counseling and higher education counseling. She completed her BA at the Indiana University of Pennsylvania. Patrice is a school counselor and practicing registered mental health counseling intern in private practice. She is the founder and owner of Forward Coaching and Counseling, a personal wellness coaching business. Patrice just launched her own podcast called Life After Sundays on YouTube. Patrice is a committed Christian who is licensed and ordained as a minister. She is dedicated to helping her students and clients live a victorious, overcoming life. Patrice resides in Orlando, Florida with her 4 children, 26, 23, 19, and 17. Let's welcome Patrice Pullen to the Vision Creator Podcast.
Welcome, Patrice.
Let's talk about why we're here. So we all know that the holiday season brings about so many emotions. We see all the advertisements on TV. We're supposed to be jolly, holly, happy Christmas, and shiny new year or something that this song says.
Yeah.
So we obviously know that is not everyone's real life, right? And so we have come together to help people cope through the ones that may not be experiencing that holly jolly Christmas or this season. And so just wanting to give people a platform to come to hear you guys give alternatives of not just being sad and depressed, but giving people coping mechanisms and tool sets to help them go through this season, so they can offer some sense of joy and happiness to their families, or if they're celebrating, or to themselves. Exactly. Yes. So I'm going to open it up. I am not the professional. I'm going to act today as the moderator, but I want each of you to share your thoughts of, we can start by a question, or we can open the floor. You guys can just kind of give an introduction as to how you can help people and what people should be doing during this season. We talked about this being when the holidays hurt. Hurt is a loaded word, right? Because it could be hurt from loss, hurt from job loss, hurt from another person. So it doesn't necessarily center around just the holiday hurting you. It could be whatever that
every
hurt
day.
Every day.
The spillover, a spillover, or overarching. So I'll just jump in and say that in terms of the holidays, in terms of just living everyday life, everyone will, if you're breathing, you will experience some stress, some sort of, everything and every day is not going to be perfect. However, what you can do is find coping strategies that will help you feel content in where you are. And that can be a sense of just hopefulness, a sense of gratitude, or a sense of just being. What I have had to deal with in my own private practice, and as well as dealing with leaders, is that when the holidays come, we tend to overextend ourselves. Anyone else? We overextend ourselves, whether we're overextending ourselves in the workplace, overextending ourselves at home, or overextending ourselves in our families. And so when that is happening, then we have to then take note of, wait, what is going on? Have you made a plan for yourself for this holiday season where you're not becoming overwhelmed to the point that it's to your detriment? And I say that in terms of, when we overextend and we're going to every single person's house, or we are isolating because it's a different season. We may have lost a friend, a family member, or a spouse, or a job, or you're no longer in that friendship that you've had for 5, 10, or 15 years. So it's taking note of what can you really tolerate in terms of being, aware of self. What are your feelings? Check in with you. And that 2-minute body scan of, wait, let me see, how do I feel about this? What am I feeling? Am I feeling overwhelmed? Am I feeling anxious? Am I feeling too stressed? If you're having any of those types of feelings that are happening, then what you need to do is just check in with self first, and then give yourself permission to have a seat and really evaluate, do I need to go here? Do I need to do all of the things instead of taking care of self first? You cannot take care of others if you aren't well first. So self-awareness, checking in with self, and then evaluating, am I okay to do all of the things that I want to do or people are expecting me to do?
That's good. That's good, Pauline. Dr. Pauline.
I want to just echo what Dr. Pauline was saying. First of all, if you are a human being, you have experienced hurt, and it comes very early. Babies, you know, when you don't get what you want, they scream and have their temper tantrum. That's a form of pain, right? And they express that pain by acting out. So pain is not anything that's a stranger to any human being, and we learn pain. And that's one of the reasons why I love being a school counselor, because I get to help and navigate and really pour into the youth so that they can learn how to get these coping mechanisms, so they can learn how to navigate the disappointments in life at a very young age, so they can build some resiliency. But I want to first, before we jump in, I want to congratulate. Let's just go ahead and put the pink elephant out.
Let's go.
Your background is pink. My sister, Pamela, she's my sister, my baby sister, first of all. And her amazing co-partner, pilot, Miss Debbie, in their birthing of Vision Creators. So I want to start by saying congratulations in launching what God has put on the inside of you. Because we're talking about hurt, and we're talking about pain in the context of the holidays. But I want to just bring it real quick to the hurt of having a vision on the inside of you, and that vision dying or being deferred or delayed, and the pain and the hurt that causes year after year after year. 1 year ends, and then here comes another one, and you're just literally carrying that with you, and you're pregnant with purpose, you're pregnant with destiny, and you don't know how to bear down and give birth. All of these things that we're talking about today in terms of how to navigate that, it all applies regardless of what that pain is. Pain, delay of a vision, pain of a lost family member that's passed away. In my case, I had my own holiday trauma. Ex-husband left me and the kids on Christmas Day. Pain. Okay. So this conversation is relevant, it's needed, and I'm glad to be a part of this conversation. And yes, I'm not going to take the mic.
Oh, that's great.
Too long.
Okay. I'm going to follow up with Patrice. Thank you so much for those encouraging words. Well, one of the things I often talk with is relationships, right? You know, I love, and it hurts me to see people hurting over love. So during the holiday season, that's one of the biggest things I'm hearing right now. Like, you know, the song, the Emotions song, what do the lonely do at Christmas, right? So, and so that's the question that I'm being asked. Like, what do I do? You know, this is Christmas time. I want somebody. I want love.
Yes.
What do I do? And so it just, for me, you know, being that I am a believer, you know, God is love. So if you can't accept his love, how can you accept anyone else's love? So let's start there, right? You know, let's start with self, like Dr. Pauline said. You know, why don't you love you, right? Why is love external? You know, love is inside. You know, you just have to tap into it. So for me, what do the lonely do at Christmas, right? We love ourselves. You know, the Bible says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So if there's no love in your heart, you don't have it to give. And people are looking for love to be given to them. The love is already there, right? Just lean into it. Just listen out for that little whisper. Listen out. Some people don't want to hear themselves. They don't want to hear what's going on in it. They want to run from it. They want to distract themselves with everything and, all kinds of things. Some things good, some things not so good. But they want to distract, the voices and all the things that are happening. But sometimes they need to sit in that, like Dr. Pauline. Sometimes they just sit and be still, right?
Sit and be still.
Yeah, just sit and be still, and just the voices that are not good, you just have to rebuke those voices. But the voices that are coming through saying that I love you, you're special, you're my child, let those voices come through and just sit in that and not push those voices away. Because then that's when the searching and the reaching and the grasping kicks in, where you're searching for somebody or something to make you feel love. I heard someone say, God, I just want somebody to say they're proud of me. Right. I mean, that touched me so deep. I'm like, oh my God, this person never heard someone say. So there's constantly seeking and searching for love, and love is within. So that's my little 2 cents. Love is all around us, but it starts within, right? If we don't allow it to penetrate our own personal heart, we can't give it, nor can we receive it. Right. So that's my 2 cents.
Then what are the strategies in terms of acquiring that confidence and that sense of self? Because in acquiring the sense of self, we're talking about emotional intelligence. And so the emotional intelligence of a person sometimes is fractured or impaired because of prior trauma, childhood trauma, adult trauma. And so being aware of where that stems and where it comes from is imperative. And so when I talk to couples, individuals, even resilient leaders about the hurt or finding love or even feeling love, it's what have you grown in yourself in terms of the ability to love in a healthy way. We have a sense of belonging because we're human. And that's okay to be human. However, what we really need to do is figure out, how do you best love you first? And so when you best love you, you begin to teach others what it means to love you too. And so finding ways that you can enjoy being with yourself. If that is having a cup of tea or coffee and you're making it in a special cup and you're setting the environment and tone for that, then you begin to nurture love and self-love. And caring for self. And then in turn, you will be able to teach someone else, this is what I love, this is what I like. Whether it is taking yourself to a movie or to lunch or brunch, you don't know or understand that there are so many people that show up at brunches and different lunches alone. And so you may find a kindred spirit or someone that you could pour into, but learn how to engage, learn how to speak in an emotionally intelligent way, being able to be aware of self, but regulate yourself when you become triggered, when you become engaged with others and there's a sound or a sight of something that triggers you because you remember something that wasn't so pleasant. And so when we talk about being able to grow our own self-love or awareness of self, that is, how do you sit and breathe and say, you know what? I have to figure out what I like. And so that is taking yourself on trips. That's taking, those courageous steps in exploring different parts of your life that you have either lost, got out of touch with, or need to revisit, or actually need to find. Because in different seasons of life, you change.
Absolutely.
Your interests change. And if your interest is changing, then when holidays come, when it's time for you to develop the skill set to venture out, then you're not being attached to something unhealthy, because you've developed in yourself a healthy sense of self and a healthy sense of love for self.
Amen. Yeah, that's good.
And the other, before I jump in, Mom, Dr. Pat, that's the other pink elephant. We got a family
family affair
here. Family affair here.
It slipped out, Mom.
Mom, I'm gonna let you get the mic before I jump in to piggyback on Dr. Pauline.
Thank you, Patrice. So I often use the technique of self-inventory, where people can have their own catharsis. They can write what's going on inside. Don't hold on to those feelings.
Yes.
Let them out. And the way you let them out is by writing.
Yes.
And you write, why am I sad? What is it connected to? Is it lack of financial resources? Is it overextending? Dr. Pauline talked about. Is it due to unhealthy family ties? Write those down. And when you're writing, you'll begin to see a theme. You'll begin to see a theme of what's happening in your life. And the holidays certainly highlight all this.
Yes.
You'll also find anniversaries of situations. It could be birthdays. It could be coming together for a wedding. Things that require you to put yourself out there. And you might feel some anxiety about, why do I feel this way? Why don't I want to go? Why am I not joyful? Start writing. Just start writing. There's no particular point you have to start at.
No.
Just, why do I feel this way? And just start writing, and you'll be surprised as to your own catharsis and what comes out.
Yes.
Hey, Patrice?
I just wanted to kind of back up a little bit, because we just dived into the deep waters. We just dived in. We didn't give no roadmap or nothing, ladies. Y'all like to swim in deep water. I just wanted to help orient us first that, I love that Debbie has brought in scripture, or just the context of God. I want to say that first and foremost is that there is light at the end of the tunnel. There is light. So where is our end goal? Yes, there is hurt, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. So that's the first thing I want to say. And the anchor scripture for me for that is Psalms 30. You guys probably know it. What is that verse? Psalms 30, verse 8. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning.
Amen.
So yes, we're talking about hurt, we're talking about pain, but no matter where you are in that process, it's only for a season. There is an expiration to your pain. And to what Dr. Pauline is describing in terms of, and even Debbie, as far as, taking care of yourself. One of the things I want to say is that you need people, a community around you. It can be family, it can be a professional like one of us, ourselves, to help you recognize your blind sides, right? So yes, you do need these self-awareness evaluations that you need to do, but you may not be able to do that alone. Okay? So first thing, again, number one, there is an expiration to pain, right? Number two, the light, right? Running to that light, right? We know that that's the end destination we're getting to, is the light. Recognizing that it takes a village, it takes a community for you to get there. Okay, so even number one in that light, for me, it's running to God. Running to God, that would be first step in recognizing that you've got some pain, right? Running to God. Second would be acknowledging that I can't do this alone. Yes. I cannot walk this road alone. I need professional help. I need family support. I need friend support. You need people around you to help you walk through this process. The next is, like my mother was saying, in terms of writing. Write the vision, knowing that you're not going to be in this place forever. So that would be step 3. Write down, where do you want to be at the end of this process that you're going through? There's going to be a shedding of so much. There's going to be a realization of so much that happens, about rediscovering things that have been lost. And then the 4th thing is giving yourself grace to know that this is not a sprint. This is a marathon. Pain is so many realms and so many layers. I'm over a decade in 3 years into a deep trauma I experienced on Christmas Day. And I can't even tell you the levels of realization I've come through about myself, about, you know, how did I get there? Where am I at today? I'm always trying to orient myself. Where am I at in this process of this journey called healing? It's a journey to healing, which is that light at the end of the tunnel. And forward is the word for me. Forward, where we should always be moving forward, knowing that our best is always ahead. It's never behind us. I don't care what you've experienced that was at that point in time so amazing and you thought was, how could things ever get better? Oh, yes, they can. Oh, yes, they can. Our best is always ahead. It's never behind.
I want to piggyback.
Okay, go ahead.
I just want to piggyback on what Patrice said about the expiration to pain, because when you're in the throes of the pain, it doesn't feel like it's going to ever expire. It just feels ongoing and it feels continuous. And it's just like, how do I get myself out of the pain? Especially when the hurt is so deep. And it may be, you know, Patrice, to your point, someone that you loved and you trusted with your life. You know, or it could be whatever it might be. And so for those people who are at that point of, they don't feel like the pain is ever going to end, you know, we want to provide them, you know, maybe you guys can give them a 1, 2, 3. Mommy, you talked about, or Dr. Madison, you talked about writing things down. And so I put in our chat, there's a grief guide that Debbie put together for us, a holiday grief guide to cope, and then the holiday grief reflection workbook. And hopefully those will be tools that people can use to help them get through that process. But we've all been there, you know, in our lives where we just feel like the pain won't stop. Yes. And how is it going to end? What do we tell people?
Okay, I want to jump in. So that's great. So I love what the ladies are saying. I love, I'm being lifted by Minister Patrice over here. She's giving us the word today and serving it up on a hot platter. So I am encouraged. And so I just want to echo what the ladies are saying about the emotional intelligence and the process to do that. So absolutely writing it out, getting it out of your head, right? You can't heal what you can't see or what you can't feel, right? You can't heal what you can't feel. And so, but I've talked to many people that some people don't like to write, which is like, you don't like to write? That's weird. So I try to encourage all the senses, right? So writing is not your thing. Pull out your voice recorder and just record your thoughts, right? But you got to get them out, because if you keep them in, you're going to implode, right? And so you got to get them out. So if it means, writing or pull out your voice recorder and talking it, talking, you always got to have someone to walk with you. If you have to call your friends 1,000 times, call them if they allow it, right? Some are just like, they're like, I'm not your therapist, go get a therapist, right? Some, you may have to go sit by the water, right? And just let the vibrations of the water or the sounds of the water. So engage all your senses. But at the end of the day, it's like you got to release what's inside of you, right? Because like you said, Pamela, the constant pain of like, I want to get this pain out of me. I want to get it out of me, right? Also singing, right? Or listening to, music, whatever music soothes you, right? You like praise and worship, you like R&B, you like gospel, you like rap, whatever soothes you, whatever gets you in a calm or happy place, like Dr. Pauline talked about. So just trying to get grounded so that way you can release what's inside you. And then also breathing, all the techniques, all the things, right? like my one client loves to say, Debbie, I do all the things, right?
All the things.
So, so just do all the things to get you grounded, right? To get you in a safe place. Because sometimes the pain could be so heavy that it feels like you're about to die, right? Some people have, go through, they go through a physical, they start getting lightheaded. They start feeling like they're going to pass out.
Absolutely.
They start feeling like, I'm still here, right? I'm like, well, you're still here. Like, where do you want to be, right? So some people don't want to be here, right? Anywhere but here, sitting in this pain and dealing with this pain. This pain is too heavy, right? And that's why, again, I love the scriptures. Jesus said his burden is light and his yoke is easy. So some burdens are not for us to carry. But if we never release those burdens and put them in the hands of the one who can hold them way better than we can. And like the ladies are saying, we definitely need, sometimes we can't do it by ourselves. We need a co-pilot to show us how to do it. And sometimes that pain is so deep. And, I heard someone tell me the other day, Debbie, I don't even want to face that pain. As we started to traverse to her pain map, and we got to one door. She did not want to go to that door. She said, Debbie, I don't even want to open that. I want to keep that door closed. So the layers of pain is really deep. And sometimes we get an emotion of anger. Anger doesn't come right away. There's some other ones that we miss. And as we started to walk that journey through all those layers, we found some pain that was like tucked away and buried. We pulled that joker out. And it was excruciating getting that bad boy out, but we got it out by the grace of God. And then we were able to soften it and walk. But sometimes you need a co-pilot to walk with you through those. And that's why the lady said, get help, get a therapist, get a counselor, get a coach who specializes in emotional intelligence and would help you identify and put language to what that thing is, and just pull it out and just, it's like a bad tooth. Let's pull that tooth out. It's going to hurt initially, and I love what Patrice said about a vision, birthing forth the baby. Push the baby. It's going to push it out. But once you get that baby out and he or she is out the room, you're good. You're good. So I just want to encourage from a standpoint of all the different layers and all the things that everyone talked about, and about how you can continue to go deep and deep till you can't go no more. Once you get, one thing I've learned is talking to so many people, once you start digging through all those layers of pain, you get to a point you can't go no further. You be like, oh, that's it. That's like, you don't have any more pain. No, that's it. Okay, well, let's since we excavated that area, let's fill it with something good, something that's going to heal you, grow you, make you a better human being. So I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, thank you for that, Debbie. No, that's really good. You said something, and Pauline, I want to defer back to what your book, Navigating Stress in the Workplace. When you don't deal with the stress and trauma, then you keep it in your body and you use your body as a container to carry that, and how it can manifest into, you're like, what's wrong? Why is this happening to me?
A lot of things.
Poor health.
Yes.
Poor health.
Exactly. Stress and
definitely
anxiety. Pauline, do you want to share your story about?
Oh my goodness. So that's where Navigating Stress in the Workplace came from. It is a personal journey as well as a professional journey that led me to help many people navigate not only stress, but how they perceive stress in their life. And so for me, I had several anomalies that happened in terms of losing my sight, in terms of being covered in hives from my head to the soles of my feet for 2 years, as well as being able to completely be shut down in terms of not being able to function in a daily way. And learning that, all of my doctors and all of the specialists said to me, I was in one instance when I lost my eyesight and returned, it was almost, what they say, it's 0.1% or 0.5% of individuals that went through this experience, but it was because of stress. It activated a part of my body that was not coping well with it. And so for me, it's my voice, or it will be my eyesight, or it will be some anomaly in my body. But what I did not realize then, and what I teach people now, is awareness. It's the 3 A's of resilience. It is, you have to be aware of how you're feeling and what you're going through, so many times, because we're caregivers, or because you are the strong one in your family, or whether you are the more astute person in your position at your job, you tend to carry more than is required. And so because you do that, you inadvertently forget about self. You don't pay attention to the headache, or you don't pay attention to the increased heart rate, or the whatever anomaly that happens with you. You may be cognizant of it, but then you push through, and we have a sense of pushing through. So in that, you have to also decide. Decision is an action. Just like no is a complete sentence. Making a decision is an action. And so when you decide to not only just be aware, but to put strategies in place in order for you to take care of self and thrive under pressure, and thrive in life when there is no pressure, you begin to practice your own self-awareness in a way that allows you to thrive, that allows you to be resilient, right? And that could be, my morning routine is I get up at 4:30. I am on my treadmill by 5. I am walking for an hour. I am listening to my praise and worship or a ministry. And then I am getting off. I am starting my hygiene. I am getting myself prepared. But I took time for me first. And when I took time for me first, I knew how to ground myself, to look at my schedule, to decide, okay, this is what I will be doing. If I don't get to certain things, I won't be doing that. But I had to give myself permission to do that, right?
Okay, right there, the permission.
And then the third A is adaptation. And so when you're aware, when you put things into action, it is that adaptation, meaning I need to practice this consistently. I can't just fall off the wagon and keep falling off. It is being aware of self to the point that you have a routine, a structure, a system in place that's going to allow you to come back to center, to come back to being grounded. And so when you're able to navigate the emotional landscape in your life, it doesn't matter where you are, boardroom or in your living room, you can navigate stress and you can become resilient and thrive in any situation that you are in life. One thing that I really do want to help our viewers with is understanding too the dynamic of pain and hurt. So often what I do with my clients is, because I am naturally a teacher, is that there's an understanding that we need as human beings in how we leverage the words we use. Pain is one thing, hurt is another. They actually impact each other, but they are not the same. And so when you talk about pain, pain is your body and mind signal that something is not right. Whether it's a headache, emotion of grief, anxiety, heartbreak, it could be often your automatic and sometimes involuntary knee-jerk reaction to hurt. And hurt is an emotional wound. That's something that's tied to your emotions. So hurt lasts longer because it is attached to a value or an expectation or a sense of self that has not been realized. So when you can be able to chop those things down and really put it in perspective, then we are when we have more information, we're better equipped to deal with life, to deal with our emotions, to deal with ourselves, because it can be a lot.
Yeah, and that's where I'm going to double down on building community and having people come alongside of you, because most of it, I would probably submit that people are unaware of. What is the genesis? What is the source of my pain? Or excuse me, my hurt. It manifests itself in pain, but what is the genesis? What has hurt me deeply? There's a lot of why, right? Exactly.
Did I expect something from someone that they did not have the capacity to give me?
Correct.
Did I present myself in a way that taught an expectation I don't have the capacity for? And so we have to be able to understand where, the why, and the how did we get here. And so when we do that, we then can be able to navigate those landscapes, those waters that we find ourselves in. Because no matter where you are, you take this hurt, this pain, this grief, this whatever you have into whatever space you go into. And so being aware of that is important.
I want to say that pain has purpose, right?
Everything has purpose. Absolutely.
Purpose, right? It is, as you said, it's signaling that something.
So don't ignore it.
Do not ignore it.
Do not ignore it.
And that's where, sitting with it, and I know it's uncomfortable. It is super uncomfortable to sit in pain, but it actually, it's helping to, move us forward, because we now we know, listen, if I'm feeling a pain in my stomach, I need to figure out what's going on here. Is this a digestive situation? Excuse me, personally, I have recognized that I process a lot of my hurt in the manifestation of pain in my belly, right? A lot of my own personal hurts are manifested. Stress is in my stomach. Pain has a purpose. I wanted to go back to, I can't remember who was saying this, but I wanted to make the point again. I'm really doubling down on the community part of it, because they help you see your blind sides, right? They help you see your blind side. And I'm thinking, if you're walking through things alone and you're hurting and you aren't having this self-awareness, you can then attract similar spirits, I'll call them, persons that will actually cause you additional pain.
Yes.
You're trying to work through some pain, and because you don't have the awareness of what's really going on and things that you need to work through, you then begin to attract people that are going to re-injure you. I just think, for me, one of the things that I really want to have our listeners walk away with is that they're not alone, and they should not walk through any hurt that they're experiencing alone. Get people to walk alongside of you through this journey of healing.
I want to make a segue here because this is really a good conversation, and because we're 5 days from it being Christmas Day, and people are spending lots of money they don't have in this season, and you guys, I'm sure, are all aware and have heard all the job loss, right? I think we're up to, I think it may be women. There's 300,000 women that have lost their jobs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a huge number of people. And so one of the questions that I had written down is, for someone who's experienced job loss, how do they manage the shame or anxiety around holidays, a holiday gathering and gift giving, right? How do you manage that?
Well, can I jump in on that one?
Sure.
Because that's been a thing for the past, I would say, 6 weeks, having to deal with. And I think we need to shift our mindsets around gift giving and holiday. because it goes back to, what do you value? What do you value? What are your expectations? And what is your core vision about what you want to establish as a tradition? When you talk about loss of jobs, loss of a part of your identity, for some people is them having a job and having a particular job, and having a certain amount of money so they can give certain amounts of gifts. Well, that you have to then think about, what are you valuing? Are you valuing gifts? Are you valuing people? And if you're valuing people, then gifts are fluid, I would say. And so when I say fluid, it is, I'm giving the gift of my presence. I'm giving the gift of my time. I'm giving the gift of fellowship. I'm giving the gift of friendship, of companionship. And so in this time, and especially in our economy, we have to be careful of, what are you valuing? Because if you're feeling shameful, then do you really believe that the people who really love you, who really treasure you, who really cherish you, care about something tangible versus holding you and hugging you and having a conversation with you, breaking bread with you? And so we have to take stock in, okay, where is this coming from? And what have I built up in me, you know, that does not align with the goals, the value, the core belief that I have for myself as a person, as a human being, as someone who is in a community, who has to then look at, well, what type of community did I actually build? And is it one that is going to support me, whether I have $1 million or I have 5 cents to my name?
Yeah. And I think that's, go ahead, Debbie.
I would love to hear, I do want to add, but I would love to hear what Dr. Pat has about it, because I'm sure she has wonderful wisdom and insight. I would love to glean from what she has to say, because I'm sure she has the keys.
Okay, well, there's a couple things. Let me go back to what you were talking about earlier, Deb. You kind of did a dovetail with what I talked about in terms of the writing. And you said there's some of your clients you've talked to, they don't like to write.
No.
We don't want to give the impression, I don't want to give the impression you have to write sentences after sentences. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. However, you can write one word.
That's good.
One word that zooms in exactly what you're feeling on that date. I think it's important to date, you know, because this is for your eyes only. This is not for public to read. This is for the individual who's seeking support, who's seeking counseling. So write the date. Even if you want to get really particular, the time. At 1 o'clock on this date, I was feeling angry. 3 hours later, I'm calm.
Good.
Just write a word to get into your being of what's going on. You gotta let it go, folks. You gotta let it go. Because if you don't, as Miss Dr. Pauline talked about, there will be consequences.
Yes.
And it's gonna fall directly on you. And you don't want that. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go.
There's actually a book, and I don't know the author, but I think it's called How to Let It Go or something like that. And
The Power of Letting Go.
Yeah, The Power of Letting Go. But Dr. Pat, that's really good. So because I think it's easier said than done. I think we all mean well, and we want to let it go, because who wants to carry that pain around? And I think, people have to build their tool set up, or have a tool set to go back to to be able to know how to let it go. So, you know, I
letting go starts with releasing, though.
Right.
We have such a hold on things, a strong hold on things, that we have not, we don't know how to let it go because we've held it so long.
Yeah.
So we have to begin to learn how to release, we can allow it to go.
Right. Well, okay, let's qualify that though real quick, Dr. Pat. So mommy or Dr. Pat. So when you're talking about like a loss of a loved one, so like for example, our father passed away almost 20 years ago. And you know, you over the time the pain doesn't hurt as much, but there's still a part of me that wants to hold on to that. And so it's easier to say just let it go, but I think we have to qualify those statements, because when you talk about a person, a loved one, that might not be as easy to let go. But when you talk about, or someone that we lost, but if you're talking about a relationship that has just fallen off, or it's dead, or it's divorced, that will, I think, require a different set of coping mechanisms or tech tools, easier to let go. Dr. Pat, what would you say about someone who's, you know, wanting to hold on to a memory of a loved one who meant so much?
Right. Well, first of all, you got to trust. You got to trust yourself. You know, I'll use your example, your father. I mean, my gosh, that's your dad, that he was there from the beginning. He was there from the beginning. There was a relationship there. There was a bond there. You loved him. There was no opportunity to say goodbye. It just was gone.
Yes.
Gone. And then that stings.
Yes.
That stings. So you have to trust that, okay, this hurts. This is long term. And our viewers out there, there's no timeline on grief. There is none. Okay, we all deal with it differently. Again, I'm a big proponent of writing. Write your dad a letter.
Yes.
Give him a letter.
Yes.
Talk to him.
Yes.
And if you live close by, go to the cemetery.
Yes.
And talk to him.
Yes.
Talk to him. You know.
Yeah.
He's gonna be your dad forever.
Yes. Yeah, I'll jump in, Dr. Pat. I love that. And so one of the things I found talking to, again, a lot of people is they don't have closure, right? So Pamela, you just described, I don't have closure. And they don't even know they have closure until we start to peel back the layers and we hit a gold mine to where all the pain is coming from, where they start to get very extremely emotional to the point where they're falling apart, and they're like, why am I falling apart? I'm like, well, we found where the dead bodies were at, right? So let's pick up this dead body and let's take a look at it. And so you know, once we find where the pain is coming from, there was no closure. Someone left suddenly, you know, and that person needed to get a chance to say bye in the right capacity. And then also too, it could have happened so long ago where now they're adult and they still haven't processed the pain. And so one of the things I told one of my clients is like, okay, we got to take you back to where when you were that little girl, teenager, whatever, and you lost your favorite uncle. You know, let's talk to him. Let's tell him how you're doing from 16 to 30 something years old. Let's sit with him and let's talk to him and let's walk him through our period. And when she got back to me, and she was just a whole different person, I'm like, okay, what happened now? What did I miss? But the problem is she got the closure she needed. You know, that was her favorite uncle and she lost him so suddenly. And that whole part of her life just disappeared. So then we have people in their lives who fell to dementia, right? And they feel they lost that person. So again, how do we keep the memory alive? There's a couple I would like to add to that. And one of it, why do we have to leave it where it was left, like a death or a funeral? Let's put life to it, because that person brought life. That person lives in you to a certain degree because they fed into you. They birthed you. Some created you. So that seed is planted in you. How about we keep that seed alive? What made you, I mean, my father died, you know, years ago. And I turned into a little girl immediately because he always told me, he said, Debbie, I'm so proud of you. I love you. You were so sweet. He was my cheerleader. And so when he died, I cried in my mother's arm and I said, Mom, who's going to tell me they're proud of me? Who's going to tell me they love? Who's going to do it, right? But over time, his voice still resonated in me and it never left me. And so I continued to celebrate him because of what the seed that he's planted in me. And then also I want to go back to what somebody else said about gifts, right? Oh, we were talking about gifts. Sometimes gift giving is some people's love language, right? And I love what Dr. Pauline said, just transition that gift into well, first of all, make sure there's no hidden things associated with it. But if that's your love language, reinvent the way you give gifts. Now, get more creative. Partner, have a gift giving party where you all create something, give something. Like, get creative. Okay, let me clarify. I am an engineer. I solve problems. So I'm always thinking of how to solve. Even got crossed me over into the human being world. My ex-husband used to say, "You can't treat people like you treat things." I'm like, "Yes, you can. You got to try, right?" So I solve problems, technical problems the same way I solve people problems. It's like, get creative on think out of the box. And sometimes you got to bring somebody along the journey. Again, I love what Patrice said about community. The Bible says, woe to those who are by themselves, because when they fall, they have nobody there to pick them up, right? So, but when you have two, they can keep you warm. So partnership and community is key to kind of dig yourself out or keep yourself out of a hole, because there is something special with holidays, and you just have to, when you've been hurt, you suffered loss, you just got to dig in. And sometimes you can like Patrice said, you got these blind spots you can't see. And so you got to bring somebody along on the journey. And if gift giving is your love language, get creative. I saw on social media the other day, they had a Mary J. Blige party. Everybody was dressed like Mary, and they had the different names, all the different, the movie, the Real Love. I mean, they named it after her song or her video, and they just had a good time. They dressed up with the high boots and the hair and people were like, "Oh wow, that's so." Get creative is what I'm trying to say. Get creative. Turn a sad thing into happiness, into joy. Recreate new memories.
I love that
life
idea.
Is like now, so transition that and transform that. Like my girl over here, Dr. Pauline, transform that thing. I'm also a transformation specialist as well. Transform, reinvent that thing. God is a creator, a vision creator. God is a constant creator. He created us. We were wonderfully and beautifully made. He knew us before we were formed in our mother's womb. So think about who we are, as a creature in Christ and of God. We are his many creatures, and we're just as creative because he is the ultimate creator. And he put that seed of creativity in us. So just tap into it. If you don't have it, like Pamela, she's the brand, she's the marketing brand behind the whole vision. I have zero branding marketing in me whatsoever. So without her, I don't know where I would be. I would be, calculating, doing some numbers. But the fact that if you don't have that skill set, if that's not your gift that God gives you, partner with somebody who does have it, and you guys come together, and you can build something that's out of this world, that's never been, matter of fact, the Bible talks about the earth is waiting for the creation to come out. So get it out and plant those seeds out there. And then later on, you can come back and reap a harvest, meaning somebody's going to testify about what you did to them, how you transformed and changed their life, all because you planted a seed in them. So I just want to get my little 2 cents. Go ahead.
I love that creativity, because we're about to come together for the holidays, and we've been throwing around some ideas of what we can do to, create memories and things like that. So I don't know if my family, because we, husband and we have my nephews and my sons, I don't know if they want to dress like Mary J. Blige, but I love that idea of, we talked about doing Dancing with the Stars, just doing something different, and everybody has to come out with their partner and be dressed in costume and all. So that's a good idea. I love that. And it doesn't cost money, right? So it takes away, distracts from, I only got $100 where somebody else may have got a $150 gift. So I love that.
I just want to caution. Just want to caution, these are great ideas, but we are who we are.
Yeah.
And for the number of years that we've lived, those are
Dr. Mommy.
We have expectations. So I think those are really good suggestions, but we're talking about a paradigm shift here in the way we think. So I would suggest, if you consider something that we heard today, that you talk to your family, your friends, way ahead of the event. So they know what to expect. You're not going to get this big gift with the big red ribbon on it. You might have the gift with the ribbon, but it's not going to be something tangible. It'll be something spoken to you or a little fun activity. But we all know change is always, it's not easy. It's whatever it is. If it's a change, if it's something different, it takes a minute to really adjust and get used to, and especially something like a big holiday is Christmas. So just kind of think about how we are, what we're considering. When I was in grad school, we did an exercise on gift giving, and I'm thinking, oh snap, I don't have anything to give anybody. But what it was a gift of gratitude. For Deb, I'll give you my gift. Deb, my gift to you is gratitude. And then talk about that, what that means, so the other person understands what you're doing. When we went around the room and did that, it was powerful. Wow. It was nothing tangible, but it was just the words spoken. Yes. And to hear those words. So it can be done. It can be done. But you have to, you really have to understand who you're doing this with, and they have to understand why you're doing this. It's just a different way of thinking.
Yeah.
Different.
Just want to out to our listeners and the people who are a part of this webinar today. If you have any questions, feel free to use the Q&A feature in Zoom and pose your question, and we'll present it to the panelists and we'll get you an answer. So as we, continue our conversation around the holidays and working through different scenarios that, we've encountered ourselves. So, there's families now that maybe this year they have a new addition to the family, a new husband, or maybe a blended family, or a new daughter-in-law or a sister or son-in-law, and they're coming together for the first time. What recommendation, what things can people, how do you open and be welcoming to that person so they don't feel, out of place, or even you in your own home, that you don't feel out of place when you're welcoming in someone that had not been there, previously? Dr. Pat, you want to take that?
Well, before you go there, if you don't mind, Mom, real quick, I want to go back to what you were saying and everybody was saying, because giving that gift of presence. So your present, present, is your presence. So that's the gift. But that's adults talking. What happens when you're the single mom, which I am and was, and you got a 5-year-old? You can't tell your 5-year-old that's expecting a present, I'm gonna give you my presents. You can, but I just don't want to ignore that hurts as a parent, as a mother who wants to give their kids a tangible gift. And yes, words are very powerful, but I don't want to neglect that single mom out there, single parent out there who literally has nothing financially to give. I'm a school counselor and I'm dealing with a family right now who is homeless, a mother and 4 kids, 3 school age, a kinder, 7th and 9th grader, and a 3-4 month old baby living out of their car. Okay. So this stuff is real. How do we navigate that, ladies? I want to be sensitive to that. I just want to be sensitive to that. Yes, and that's where I want to go. Ask for help.
You're a school counselor. I was a school counselor. I'm in private practice. We all deal with different families and clients in very different situations. And so it is having resources available. In our community, we are a part of the Laurel Board of Trades. We are a part of a business community. And so we do a lot in the community, and the community supports. So I have resources for clients. But when you're talking about being a single mom or being a single parent, because I have a lot of single dads that are raising their children as well. And so it is giving them the resources that is needed for them to have the holiday that they want. But when you talk about even children, it is again, I will always go back to, what do you value? And what expectations do you have? And in that, what are you building in terms of tradition and in terms of just life happens? Even as a single mom, as a single parent, life happens. Even when you are a couple and you've lost the job and you still have bills to pay and the house has to stay intact, right? Everyone goes through something. It is, what do you value and what are your expectations? And in that, how are you building the resources to handle it all, right? And that can come in very different ways. In our family, they grew up not knowing they're not getting 5, 6, 7, 8 things under the tree. They get to pick one thing. Sometimes it was, this year we're going to decide on a trip. This year we're going to decide on our favorite restaurant to go to. This year we're going to pick names. This year we're going to, when they were little, we made gifts, we made cards, and we each cooked our favorite foods. So we did different things, like you said, being able to transform the way that we hold ourselves to expectations that may not meet the means in the season we're in. Mm-hmm. And so it's giving yourself grace, and it's teaching your children that life happens. However, it doesn't have to defeat you, and you don't have to perceive it as this is a down and out, but this is a chance to reinvent how this is done and in the way that it is done, because you're teaching them emotionally how to navigate life no matter what is happening.
That's really good. That's really good. I think. Actually, go ahead. Who is speaking?
It's me, Debbie.
Dr. Debbie.
So, okay, a couple things. First of all, if I can be a help to this young lady, please let me know. Maybe, a hotel stay or whatever. But secondly, sometimes people in certain situations, not everybody, they may not receive help, right? They may not receive it. They just won't, right? There's a lot of people are homeless right now, and they absolutely refuse to receive help because there could be some mental illness there. There could be some pride. There could be a lot of things. There could be some spiritual warfare going on. So first, the first thing I would check to see is she open to receive help, right? Is she open to it? Or whomever, even a single mom who needs to put, who still wants to buy gifts for their children. First of all, are you have to be real with yourself. Are you willing to accept help, right? Because loss happens, you fall down sometimes, and sometimes the services that you contribute to, sometimes you end up needing those same services. And so you have to be honest with yourself and say, I need help, and to do that, you may have to go to places that you probably never normally visit, never a soup kitchen or a church, a handout for turkeys and all. You may, like right now, the kitchens, the soup kitchens are the lines are wrapped around the corner because of the current condition that we're in. Yes. And there are some people who for the first time stood in the line getting for food, and so there's a level of humility that has to take place. You have to, ask yourself, am I going to let my pride stand in the way of receiving help? Especially if you want to give to your children and you don't have the capacity, because just taking that first step of admitting I need help, many doors will open for you. For example, like the young lady that's sleeping in her car, a local church will take her in a hot minute. They will give her everybody, because it doesn't take much. A church of a couple of hundred people, they all contribute a few dollars or whatever. I mean, literally overnight, they can change her life, literally, and her family's life, even if it's just for a temporary time until she can leverage resources to get her to the ultimate destination. But But the first step is to say, I need help, and then being really like Dr. Pauline saying, open your hand to receive. Because sometimes pride gets in the way, and it doesn't. Some people would rather live in their car than accept help. So we got to distinguish between, will you receive help, or are you willing before you wash it? Just like when Jesus, the first thing he always said, do you believe, or do you want to be made whole, right? He always get permission to help, right? And so my thing is, we have to get permission to help people, because sometimes people don't want help. They don't, even though we see them bleeding right, in front of you. Some people will not receive it because they're set in their mind that I'm good. I'm going to figure this out. Even in the midst of them literally bleeding all over everybody and over you. So my first position would be ask, do they want help? Do they want to help? Do they want it? And do they want to receive it the way you want to give it? Because they may say, yeah, I want help, but just give me the money. Like when you go to the stores and you have somebody standing out there, with the handout, right? You go into your favorite Popeye's chicken and somebody's out there with the handout. And it's like, and if you ask, hey, can I get your sandwich? Like, no, I just give me the money, right? So they want the money. Why do they want the money? Because they have other plans, right? God knows what those are. But the point of the matter is, you have to get real with yourself. First of all, asking permission to help. And if their answer is no, then, we just pray for them and move on. But if not, then absolutely, I believe local churches definitely are set up to that's their mission. For most of them, their mission is to be the hands and feet of the Lord. And so they're more than willing to help. And like I said, if I can help in any way, Patrice, I would love to help this young lady. So.
And Deb, if I can add on to what you said, the social services in the community, tap into them. Nonprofit agencies, tap into them. Salvation Army, food banks, tap into them as well. And I know that, the social worker at the school should be acutely aware of what's going on with these children. And then that social worker should be able to make recommendations as well to the families. And to get back to what you'd asked earlier, Patrice, about limited funds, and when you have children who look to mommies and daddies for, that big Christmas, and when the money is not there, it's hard because you got the influence of their friends, you have the influence of TV commercials and all the things that come with holidays. And that's the time when parents must sit with their children. It's not an event when you sit, it's a process, and let them know that this is what we're going to do this year for Christmas, and spell it out to them how this is going to look differently, or maybe it's the same way every year, but help your children understand what our Christmas is going to look like, no matter of little Bobby and what their family's doing and what you see on TV. This is what makes us unique and how we do it. And then they can feel some sense of uniqueness and feeling special, rather than falling into that hole of doing everything that everybody else is doing. And that's hard. That's hard because as a parent, you want to do all the big things. You want the fireworks and you want it all. So it's an adjustment of what I said earlier, a paradigm shift of how you're thinking, and then talk with your children. Again, it's not an event. It's not a one-time, I'm going to talk to them and that's going to be it, and that's going to shift them and life is going to be great. No, we're going to start today and we're going to talk. And talking can come in different ways. It doesn't always have to be the family meeting. It could be while you're cooking, while you're making a meal, and you just kind of interweave different thoughts, different conversations into that time where it's a moment of time where your young person can remember. Like, I remember when Mom used to talk about, our Christmas is going to look different this year. How's it going to look different? And then and be real with them. You must be real with your children.
Okay. Thanks, Dr. Mommy. So Okay, so we have about 15 minutes left. So let's just kind of wrap up some things. I want to go back, Dr. Pat, to the question I introduced earlier around families coming together for the first time, whether it be in-laws or your new son-in-law, your new daughter-in-law, or maybe it's a blended family, maybe it's a new stepmom or stepdad, and this is the first holiday season. How would you recommend someone prepare for that?
Well, thinking about it from the other side, from that new person coming into the family, they're very nervous. They're filled with a lot of anxiety. They don't know anything about the family dynamics. And I think, if the person who brought them into that circle hasn't talked to them, then I think it's good for the head of the household where this party or this event's happening to talk to them about themselves. Get them to talk about themselves. And then if you hear comparisons, things that are relatable into your family, talk about that. And again, it's not an event, it's a process. Now you talked about son-in-law, daughter-in-law, we're talking about long term. So, help them to feel comfortable. My casa, your casa, my house, your house. And just to think about it, what it was like when you came into a new family and the awkwardness that came with that. And talk about, we're welcoming you to our family. And this is how we normally do our events, our Christmas. It's a big Christmas, but maybe not always. Somebody talked about a trip. Maybe we'll do a trip next year. Just get people to talk and get this new person to talk and join into the conversation. It's never easy, and especially from the other person who's walking in. They don't know what anybody's about. People start snapping out.
That's right. Thank you for that, because that's where I was going with it. Because Pookie and them, they got their own culture inside that family. Pookie
That's
and them.
Right.
But I was going to go even deeper. Man, why you bring this up at the end, Pam? This should have been at the top. Why you bring it at the end? That's so real, because families do have a culture. I hear you want bringing or introducing a new person into the culture. That's a whole nother episode. But how about when the family has a dynamic and there's schisms inside the family and y'all all trying to come together around a holiday? Mm-hmm. Do we, like you said, Mom, talk about it beforehand? Or do we just kind of just keep going, brush stuff under the carpet? You know how we do. We go to the family event knowing that there's all these B, C stories. The A story is we all come together for the holiday, but then there's all these sub stories that people don't talk about, and here's hurt over the years, and we just keep dragging it along.
But someone has to set a tone.
Yes.
Someone has to set a tone, and it's usually the one that is hosting.
Yes.
So if that is the person that is hosting, there are parameters at which you will, be presenting yourself or having any interaction within my home.
That's good.
And we will respect each other. And if so I always tell my clients, know your audience. But also know yourself enough to know, what am I going to allow, and what am I going to be courageous enough to correct? Because it doesn't matter the sub-stories. The story that will be told is the one that I orchestrate, because it is my home. And you are a visitor into my home, family included. Family included. Because if I am to behave, you all will behave. And so you're setting the tone, and that is the host. That is the person that is bringing everyone together. And we may have to, put our differences aside. We may have to leave them at the door. You can pick it up tomorrow. You can have it the day before. But on this day, we're coming together, and then you set the tone, but you have your activities, and you set the stage for how you want this to go, because everyone innately wants to have a good time.
Sure. Yeah.
They really do want to have a good time. Sometimes it is they don't have the structure or the system in which to do that. And so you have to be the one to set that. And if you know you're inviting someone that historically will not behave, why are you inviting them?
Entitlement. There's entitlement. People feel like they should be there. And I can't help but saying Medea. If anybody got a Medea in their family, I think the new person needs to be aware there is a Medea.
There's a Medea in every family. If you think about it, there's always a Medea or an uncle something, right? The thing about that is, though, you still set the tone as the host. Yes. And there is an expectation. I give myself permission to, and I don't have a problem with someone who is disrupting my home. I don't have a problem escorting them out. I don't have a problem having a side conversation, because if they don't pull it together, I will pull it together. I don't have that issue. And so when there's also an expectation when you come to my home, and there is an expectation, your family knows you. Your family knows you. Your family also understands, like, there are certain things they will do in one house they won't do in this house. Right? And so when you talk about bringing families together or new people in, it is, what is the host expectation of the event? What tone have you set? What memories do you want to build? And so with that, if you're inviting someone in that's new, yes, you're nervous, but you may want to have a conversation with the person of, what are your traditions? What is something that we may incorporate in order to, blend the family or bring the family together? So it's all a part of, okay, let me set the tone.
That's good.
Right.
So let's make this.
That's where we should start.
Thank you for that, Dr. Pauline. All right, so in wrapping up, okay, there's two things. I'm going to put the questions out to you guys, and then you can answer. So what one thing would you want our listeners to know, if they're dreading the holidays this year? If everyone can give like a 2-minute statement on that. Dr. Pat, we'll start with you.
One thing that we want our listeners to know.
Yeah, that if they're dreading the holidays this year, what's one thing we want them to know? What's one thing you want the Vision Creator listeners to know if they're dreading the holidays this year?
Well, there's several things, but
give it to us in a 45-second, 1 minute, because then we'll go through each person. Then I have one closing question.
Stand in your power.
That's good.
Stand in your power. Trust your feelings. People that you trust in your life, you feel safe with, you feel secure with, bring them into the fold and talk to them about what you're experiencing, what your gut is feeling. If you have a therapist, counselor that you're connected to, open up, talk to that therapist, talk to that counselor, and go back to the writing, either the one words or writing full sentences, fragmented sentences. Your eyes are the ones who are going to read that, no one else. To get your feelings out and not hold on to them.
That's good. Okay, Patrice, follow up. One thing that you would want the listeners to know if they're dreading the holidays this year.
It's one day. It's one day, honestly. I'm hosting this year, y'all. In case you don't know.
It's Patricia.
Listen.
Where are you now?
The words that's coming out of my mouth are the words boomeranging right back to me. I'm about to take my own medicine. I need some sugar. I need some sugar to make it easily go down.
That's not nice because we're coming to crash the house.
You know the saying? A spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down.
Yes, it does.
Yes. So let me see how I can put this nicely, because I am literally talking to myself as my family are going to descend starting tomorrow, and I don't have a stitch of Christmas, nothing up in my house. I ain't got a ho.
Well, you better tell them to bring some. Mail it, send it over.
I don't have nothing up. I don't have a tree. I don't have a wreath. I don't have anything up. So
you need the noodle, or you got it?
It's bringing a little bit of tears to me. My whole family, as I knew it, was literally came crashing down on Christmas Day 13 years ago. And it reset me in a way that actually was for the better. And so Christmas does bring a lot for me. When everyone was, having their wonderful Christmas spread, I could care less about what we were eating. I was trying to keep myself from not having to go check into an ER, literally. So not to say that the holiday is not sacred to me, because it is, but the commercialism of it, I cannot allow myself to get caught up. And it's kind of ironic this particular year, because this is the first time I've hosted Christmas in this 13-year journey I've been on as a single mom. And I can honestly say, full circle, I do not care. I don't. Jesus is the reason.
Amen.
You love me for who I am, not for what I have. I really want to enjoy my family. I'm not trying to impress my family, because Christmas Day 2012, I had nothing. Nothing but my children. I had my parents, and that was enough.
Amen.
And here I stand, Christmas Day 2025.
Amen.
We are enough.
Amen.
We're enough. I'm good.
Amen. That's a testimony.
Praise God. It's a testimony.
Thanks, Patrice. All right, Debbie, you want to give your
I'll go
statement?
next. So you said if they're dreading, so that's fear, right? Fear is false evidence appearing real. So I would say just refocus. My one word is refocus. Whatever you're fearful of, look at something, whatever, because you're looking at something and it's resonating with you. Focus on something else. Just refocus on it. Focus on what you're grateful for, like Dr. Pat talked about. Focus on gratitude, and that should shift your mood. So that's what I have.
Thank you. Okay, and Dr. Pauline, and then we're going to one last thread after Dr. Pauline gives her statement, and then we'll close it out.
Simply choose joy. Holidays are actually days. They're days. They're another day. We bring a focus to it, but choose joy every day. Just choose joy. Find the little things that make you feel good, that pour into you, whether it's the person, whether it's the event, whether it is you just, taking stock in yourself. If you're dreading the holidays, find something to bring you joy.
That's really good. All right, and our final question, 2026 is literally 10 days now? It may not even be that many, 8, I don't know, maybe it's 10 days, something like that. So as we look ahead, Patrice, as you said earlier, only looking ahead and not behind. I've heard a lot of churches, and the church that we attend and listen to online, they have given a what's the word? They have asked the members to come up with one word. What's your one word for 2026? and going into 2026, what's one word that you have, and you may not even have prepared a one word, but what's one word that you want to kind of dig your heels in and ride on for 2026 going forward?
Okay, I'll go first.
Go ahead.
Well, it's two parts. It's actually one word is go, but the part that receives it is let's go. So this is the year of launch, and no more delays, no more setbacks. No, let's go.
I love that.
2026 is like let's go, Pam. Let's get this podcast going. Let's get it going. Let's go. No more talking about it. We're going to be about it this year. So let's go. That's my.
I love that. All right. Who wants to go next? Patrice, Dr. Mommy.
Got new titles, boy.
I know, new titles.
I'm going to go with one word, you said?
Yeah. What's your one word?
Forward. I'm going to use Patrice's word.
I like it.
Just looking straight. Not looking back.
Yep.
Looking straight. Forward.
Dr. Pauline or Patrice, do you have a one word? As I think of my own.
I have mine, since because it would have been forward, but that's even the name of my practice is Forward Coaching and Counseling. But instead of forward, because this is, oh man, this year is violent in a good way. So my word is charge.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Charge. Let's charge. That's it.
Okay, Dr. Pauline.
My 2026 word is actually prosper.
Oh, I love it.
So prosper and multiply in all that you do. When I think of the word prosper, so it's a passion. It's pouring into. It's growing. So my 2026 word is prosper.
That's good. And I just thought of one for myself, is navigating. Yes. Navigating for 2026. 2025 and 2024 brought in some challenges and some unexpected things. And then 2025, just navigating new territory. And going into 2026, I'm going to navigate some more.
Right.
Navigate and prosper.
That's right.
So
what was your word, Debbie?
Let's go. It was go, but it's let's go. Go
Yes.
is what's the word. So going forward, navigating, charge, prosper, all these things is forward moving, forward thinking. And it's time. We're gonna like the children of Israel, right? When they left Egypt, God said, "Get your gold and your silver." We're coming from when we leave out this wilderness and we go into our land of the milk and honey. We're going to take our gold. We're going to ask for our gold and silver on our way out the door. I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting my gold and silver as I'm prospering and going forward in the new year.
Okay, so the words navigate, charge, prosper, let's go, and forward.
Yes.
Here we go.
Let's go.
Here we go. Forward motion, right? Those are things.
All action
forward
words.
motion. Action words. So, ladies, I can't thank you enough for joining Debbie and I, and Debbie as the co-host and even as the panelist today on this journey of the podcast. And the title was The Counselors Are In When the Holidays Hurt. And I hope that everyone who joined us today live and also for the recording, that someone and everyone will get something out of what we talked about today, and that their hearts feel a little bit more whole, and that they'll go finish out this holiday season with new light, with new outlook, openness. They're ready to host their guests, and they're willing to or open to bringing in new things into their lives and maybe a new way of doing things and using their creativity, some of the things that we talked about today. Yes. And so I hope all of those things, all the things that we talked about resonated with our guests who joined us live, and also the replay, and people will take away some valuable insight. And I just want to thank each of you And I want you each to have a blessed holiday season, and we'll talk soon. Any parting words really quick before we close out?
Don't forget the guides, the holiday guides.
Oh yes, I put the holiday guides in the, yes.
And wherever this is posted, like, share, comment, subscribe, all the things.
Yes, all the things. And we'll talk soon, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.
Follow us.
Oh, follow. Yes. Patrice, you want to give a plug real quick to your podcast? The name of your podcast?
Yes, I was just putting in there. It's probably grammatically crazy sounding, but anyone who's listening who wants to connect with me and take the journey, being a single mom, single after 50, navigating dating, just life, come take the journey with me on the Life After Sundays with an S podcast, my YouTube channel, and I would love for you to connect, and we can go from there.
And also, Pauline, I put the link to your book in the chat as well.
Yes.
Everyone's information I put in the chat for how people to get in contact with you, and that will also, I will include that in our show notes afterwards for any the listeners who will listen to this afterwards, so everyone will know how to connect with you, and any other things that we need to.
If there are any resilient leaders and you want to pour into your leadership legacy, on June 5th, 6th, and 7th, we will be hosting the Heart of Resilient Leadership retreat at Turf Valley Resort in Ellicott City, Maryland. And that information will be coming out in January, and I will be happy to share it with you so you can share it with your viewers, because we are going to prosper and build resilience as we go in and out of the workplace.
Awesome. Love you guys. Talk soon.